Good morning, welcome to the program. Let's take a look at the headlines of the news on your day. Coming up this morning, minority in Parliament justifies its version of the 3 revenue bills government is seeking to approve to rake in some 4 billion cedis. Also in the bulletin, Director General in charge of public relations of the Ghana Armed Forces says the military has received commendation after its invasion of Ashiaman, which left 1 dead. Brigadier General Agri-Kwashi has been speaking for the first time since the incident. To bring you some international news, as well as cholera spread worsening in Africa, according to the World Health Organization. You're welcome to the program. Let's start off the bulletin with this. Well, the Director General in charge of public relations of the Ghana Armed Forces, Brigadier General Agri-Kwashi, says the military has received thumbs up for the invasion of Ashiaman. He says even though there were regrettable excesses during the operation, there needed to be an action in the area.
Let's take Ashiaman, because that is what is trending, maybe for the wrong reasons. But whatever happened in Ashiaman was not something somebody woke up one morning and said, let's go to Ashiaman. No. So many things are taking place, and our soldier dying became like the last straw that broke the camel's back. Ashiaman is a place. There are certain sections that even the police cannot go and effect arrest. They won't dare. Somebody commits a crime and you can't go there to even arrest the person. And so we're tracking certain events.
The number of calls that I've received and the institution has received, thanking us for the actions in Ashiaman. You see, but people are asking that, oh, General, so why would you do that again? Because if you live within that enclave and at a certain time of the day, you couldn't go to certain areas, and these things happen, you appreciate. Funny thing is that some of the pictures that people saw were pictures taken by soldiers and posted on their Facebook and WhatsApp pages. There is not a media personnel who even got those things, and it's something we are dealing with.
For the security services, we are looking at the national security posture of the situation. But some of our actions are not things that are planned. Unfortunately, the Ashiaman incident, there were a lot of excesses. We saw it ourselves. But if I have asked a soldier to go and do something, and he goes beyond, I can't come and stand in the public and chastise that soldier. Tomorrow I won't get him to do anything at all. So I have to take the bashing. And that is why when everybody was bashing, I kept quiet. Because we ourselves were complaining that some of the things they were doing was just too much. But in the public space, there is nobody who will come and condemn the person he has asked to go and do so. Even if he has done something wrong, we'll find a way of dealing with him. Other than that, you won't get him doing anything again. For me to say something is regrettable, it means that I'm not happy with it. And so, you see, we are dealing with 2 publics here. The military public is there, and then the civil public is also there. And so we should be able to tread that thin line so as in trying to appease you, they will receive internal bashing. Because within the military itself, at times, they don't even consider us as military people. Like, oh, you journalists and a colleague officer, we train together, we do everything, and then you look at you journalists, because they think that anytime you want to talk, you are asking people to be considerate.
Well, that comment by the Brigadier General has generated a lot of controversy, if you like. Let us also know what you think of that on any of our social media platforms at TV3 Ghana. Now to Parliament, because the Speaker of Parliament will later today put before the House a question on the approval of the President's ministerial nominees after it was postponed to today, Friday, March 24. The decision of the Speaker followed an over 3-hour suspension of the House without his permission, with the chairman of the NDC president in Parliament to monitor proceedings from the morning. This is what ensued.
I take the decision tomorrow. I heard no from both sides of the House. Now, I want to understand the meaning of no from my right. Then I want to understand the meaning of no from my left.
We will debate, conclude the debate, and vote on the subject matter duly.
31 minutes past 7 p.m. The no on this side is that we take an adjournment till tomorrow.
Proceed to debate the motion, but we will take the decision tomorrow.
I had the opportunity to listen to the nominees. I've had the opportunity to read the 63-page report ably presented by the first Deputy Speaker. And I believe all the nominees are colleagues. We know them. We know their competence. They earn their salaries as members of Parliament, and I believe they can serve this country well. And I ask the House to approve of them to serve this country of us. I thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, at this time, as we speak, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, the Finance Minister of our country, is gone to China, begging. He is begging for debt restructuring. Our president, only a few days ago in the message on the State of the Nation, was reporting to us how the begging with the Paris Club, begging with China, how it appears to be going well, and that he is quite hopeful that by end of this month, March, we will secure a $3 billion bailout from the IMF, even though, by all indication, that won't happen. We are not even featuring on the IMF Executive Board calendar. Yes, we know times are tough, times are hard, but leadership should lead by example, Mr. Speaker. This is not the time to do yenti obia, muka kranami yen more.
We stand with the people of Ghana, and we are urging our colleagues, the MPP members of Parliament, to stand for Ghana and not to stand for your colleagues. Mr. Speaker, the nominees are our colleagues. But the principle is that it is not about them. It is about the Republic of Ghana. There may be our colleagues and our friends, but it's not about them. Mr. Speaker, some of them are relatives, but it's not about them. And I call on you that look them in their faces and vote against them for the Republic of Ghana.
I believe going back to re-argue is of no consequence. And I will just plead that we approve of the ministers and move on. And Mr. Speaker, when we conclude the debate, as I'm concluding, I will entreat you to put the question and we shall decide today on the ministers. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. The question is to be put tomorrow. I proceed accordingly to adjourn the House to tomorrow at 10 in the forenoon. The House is adjourned.
So stay with us here on TV3 and all the media general platforms as we update you on the happenings in Parliament today. Well, still in Parliament, the minority says it has not shown no bad faith in the consideration of the 3 revenue bills government is seeking approval for to rake in some 4 billion cedis before getting the IMF deal. Even though the Finance Committee, by consensus, approved the report, the entire minority remain averse to its passage. Whole Central MP and member of the committee, Benjamin Pudu, tells TV3 the minority's position is based on principle.
These bills, if you go into them, you will see that they are amending existing laws, which have imposed certain taxes on the citizens of Ghana. Now, in the heat of these difficulties that we have, these bills, when passed, will escalate the suffering of Ghanaians. That is why, upon hindsight, we think that they should not go through. The only person who does not change his mind is the word change itself. So if we at a particular time, in the heat of the budget consideration, we thought of something in a particular way, and we have now again gone back to review our position, then you can know that we have the right to review our position. Now, at that time, we thought the government itself would take measures that will reduce expenditure. But the government is adamant. They do not want to reduce expenditure.
Away from that, the Ghana Meteorological Agency needs $6.7 million to acquire radar and synoptics to enable it to give accurate weather forecasts. Acting Director General of the agency, Ashiaman, disclosed this on the sidelines of a national framework for climate services and the launch in Accra.
The agency has since its inception heavily relied on manual stations to collect data for weather forecasts. Two equipments required for up-to-speed and accurate weather forecasting are radars, which Ghana needs for at a total cost of $4 million. The other is synoptics, which is a key component of automatic stations.
When it comes to developing or coming out with a climate service, it's tough on collection of the data. And the collection of data is so critical. We have specific equipment that we use in collecting this data. All right, and it's very expensive in having this equipment. We don't have all. In fact, we used to have manual stations. Now we are moving towards automatic weather stations. And one automatic station, the synoptic tag, is about $60,000 US. And we need over 120 to cover the whole nation. One particular equipment is so critical when it comes to giving early warning and be able to predict accurately, which is called a radar. Radar give you the overview of the atmosphere by click of a button. We did about 4. But we have one, which is now even now not working. We are working hard with what we have, with using technology to improve our service delivery.
The launch of the National Framework for Climate Services and the Meteorological Society of Ghana is therefore seen as a step in the right direction to help the country overcome some of the challenges.
The situation at the moment is quite low. There are teething challenges related to both the production, the delivery, and use of climate information service. And this needs to change, as we all know the impact and the contribution that can make. If the farmer knows that today at this time it will rain at this place, and they will take and make very good decisions based on this information.
Another challenge identified is lack of coordinated efforts by the various agencies.
So if these adaptations are scattered and the framework is here calling us back to the drawing board, we need to re-coordinate these activities. So how do we coordinate these activities? We need to come together as one family to work. So which is one of the agendas that is being pushed through the establishment of the Ghana Meteorological Society.
The twin launch coincided with the World Meteorological Day, which falls on March 23 each year.
As the agency makes advances in its work and mandate, and with the support of stakeholders, it will accelerate its role in delivering accurate and timely weather information and climate services to contribute to the protection of life, property, and livelihoods.
A 5-member interim steering committee was also constituted to lead efforts in promoting the national framework to ensure desired outcomes.
And away from that story, Queen Mother of the Wasafiasi traditional area, Nana Bina Kunajo II, has called on the people to report suspects linked to the destruction of properties worth millions of dollars at the Wasap mines of the Golden Star Resources Limited. Meanwhile, the corporate manager of the company, Gerard Bwachi, says it will have to be closed down for about 3 months, which will affect their contribution to government's Gold for Oil program. Rama Smith has more in this report.
Work here at the Wasap mines of the Golden Star Resources has ground to a halt following the attack by some illegal miners who we understand are from the Subriso community. Currently, the traditional leaders are saddened by this, and they have asked their people to bring out all suspects living in the community.
I wept when I saw the bent vehicles, the cost of an excavator. If not exaggerating, they have destroyed over 30 cars. What is the cost of a pickup? I want to tell my people that if anyone knows the whereabouts of these perpetrators, they should inform the police for them to be arrested.
We also understand the police have arrested about 33 people. They've been taken to court, so the process of investigations is gradually going on. The Corporate Affairs Directorate of the company tell us they will have to wait until the Mining Inspectorate Division gives the go-ahead for work to begin before they can resume work here. This is a third of their concessions, so currently only the other 2 are operating.
The law says that if it's not safe, we can't mine. So the chief inspector came here. So until we can assure him that it's safe to mine here. And I mean, look, we don't even have ambulance. When we bring people to mine here, we should have ambulances. There should be officers that are safe. Everything should be safe here before they start mining here.
All gold mining companies have been asked to contribute 20% of their production to government for the Gold for Oil program that is currently ongoing. According to the Golden Star Resources Company, this will be adversely affected because they are now operating at 2/3 of their total production capacity.
The cost is not just what you see, but also the knock-on effect in terms of our contribution to national, sort of the statutory payments would all go down. One major thing that comes to mind straight is that last year, most mining companies contributed 5,000 ounces to our reserves. This year, we saw the new regulation or sort of bylaw that we need to contribute 20% of our annual production to the oil for gold stuff. So look at the value chain here now.
Where the company has been hard hit is their core yard, where they keep exploratory data, which we are told is valued in millions of dollars.
And we have done a couple of drilling here, and all the information were kept here. Whatever you see here, those stones that you see, they are all carrying information. Yes, very primary source of information, and then later we have to download some of the information on it into the computer. But most of them we haven't done that, so we have lost very valuable information.
Now, the traditional authority is concerned that this could adversely affect the working relationship between the community and the company. Rama Smith, TV3 News, Benso.
China has called on multilateral lenders such as the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund to offer debt relief to Ghana if they are indeed committed to addressing the country's debt crisis. The World Bank and IMF oppose their inclusion in debt restructuring, meaning China's call may complicate efforts to restructure Ghana's external debt. Sani Abdurrahman has been following up on the conversations and reports.
All eyes have been on China on what relief it can offer to Ghana as the country restructures its debt to get the much-needed IMF bailout. The finance minister is in Beijing for a 2-day meeting with the Chinese, seeking an extension of the moratorium, an extension of debt service payment, and a haircut on interest rates. While the finance ministry has said the meeting is going well, 3 businesses learning, the Chinese are making some demands. China is asking the IMF, World Bank and other multilateral lenders to also participate in the debt restructuring, essentially saying no lender should be exempted in the exercise. That's quite problematic for Ghana, which needs some sort of debt relief as soon as possible to avert a full-blown economic crisis. It does appear that Ghana is caught in the web of geopolitics between China and Western creditors, because this same demand by China for the inclusion of IMF and World Bank's debts delayed debt relief talks for Zambia. Listen to China's Foreign Ministry spokesperson responding to questions about Ghana's debt relief requests.
It requires the concerted efforts of Ghana and all international partners. Multilateral creditors should take part in the debt relief efforts for developing countries. They are the main creditors.
So China is essentially saying the key to easing Ghana's debt burden lies in the participation of multilateral financial institutions and commercial creditors in the debt relief efforts. China argues that IMF, World Bank and commercial creditors hold the bulk of Ghana's foreign debt and therefore need to also incur some losses like all other creditors. Quite a worrying development for Ghana, but expected.
Well, let's bring you some sports news now. And as you know, it may have been a last gasp winning goal by Antoine Semenyo. But for the Black Stars, Thursday night's 1-0 win is a major boost for the African qualifiers. The Stars go to Angola on Monday with a slender advantage, but it is the performance of the boys at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium that got fans believing again. Urekwampafo has the match reports on Chris Hughton's winning start at the helm of the affairs.
So Chris Hughton off to the perfect start in his regime with a slender 1-0 win here at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium, thanks to a second-half substitute, Antoine Semenyo, who came in and made an impact and got the last-minute goal to ensure that all 3 points go to the Black Stars, who maybe narrowly thought that they deserved the win today after the performance that they put in today. But Angola were strong and would feel that they did enough to at least go home with something on the day. Chris Hughton is excited, and he becomes the 6th consecutive manager to win his first Ghanaian Africa Cup of Nations qualifier on home soil, and so that record remains intact. It also means that the record at the Baba Yara Stadium remains intact. 23 years, still no defeat, and the crowd really did play their part today. The 3 points means that the Black Stars are now 7 points on top of Group E and would need the result 3 days away from now when they travel to Angola to get very close to qualification. Victory in Angola would all but do the job and seal their place at the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations. Reporting from the Baba Yara Sports Stadium, Urekwampafo for 3 Sports.
Well, you could log on to our website, 3news.com, for more news. My name is Novel Crosby, and Engineer Roland, good morning.